I wanted to go through with you again what happened on the debate about racism last night in the Welsh Parliament. Racism is something which has come sharply into focus recently with all the events around the world. The first person of colour elected to the then Assembly was the late Mohammed Asghar. But I'm the first person of colour born in Wales to be elected to our Parliament, and I'm quite proud of that achievement. The government tabled a debate on racism. So last week I tabled 4 amendments to tackle racism in Wales because I wanted the government to do something concrete and not just talk about it. The first was calling for equality impact assessments to be updated and done differently. The second was calling for a review of the implementation of the Lammy report. David Lammy is a black MP in London, and his very substantial study made 100 recommendations. The recommendations aim to end racism in the criminal justice system, and that's a really important matter, because if you look at the Black Lives Matter movement, the death of a black man in custody is what kicked off the whole worldwide movement. So at this particular time in our history, this is the time to talk about these things, and now is the time to take action. The third amendment called on the UK government to introduce a module in the Grenfell inquiry on class and race. Those two issues are so integrated, so integral to many of the problems we all face. So I think it was a really sensible suggestion to call on the UK government to include that. My last amendment was to call upon the UK government to speed up the compensation related to the Windrush scandal. So many people in Wales have been affected by the Windrush scandal, treated really, really unfairly, been here for decades and then told to go back to somewhere they'd not been since they were children in many cases. The UK government admitted that they got it wrong, but they've been incredibly slow in compensating the victims, and I wanted to do something about that. So I submitted these amendments almost a week before the debate, and we had some to and fro in with the officials to make sure that we had the best wording possible, and all amendments were accepted by the officials. But then something happened which you rarely see. Just hours before the amendments were due to be voted on, the presiding officer, who is the equivalent of the Speaker in the House of Commons, withdrew all amendments. She used a power which says that she can remove amendments for the proper conduct of business. I really cannot see how trying to do something about Grenfell, about Windrush, about equality assessments, about the Lammy report and racism in our criminal justice system, I cannot see how that is not proper business. How can that not be? What everyone needs to bear in mind is that I was the only MS of colour able to submit amendments, because Vaughan Gething is a government minister. So in terms of life experience of racism due to skin colour, I was the only person in that Parliament yesterday able, from a qualified position, to make amendments. So in a debate on racism, the presiding officer, Elin Jones, decided to simply delete all the amendments from the only person of colour able to put them. During the debate, I wore a tape over my mouth, and I held up a placard to illustrate how my ability to act democratically had been taken away. And then, bizarrely, at the end of the debate, the presiding officer allowed me to speak. It was done in the most patronising way possible. She said she did so out of kindness.
No, Jane Hutt, I have a degree of kindness that's come upon me, and I've offered Neil McAvoy the right to speak.
No, I wasn't there to speak in the debate out of kindness. I prepared serious amendments, solutions to problems, actions we wanted the government to undertake, and I prepared a speech to talk about that. So the presiding officer may claim that I wasn't gagged, that she gave me the opportunity to speak, But allowing a person of colour to make up a few words on the spot is just pure tokenism. Having amendments on racism actually voted upon in the Parliament is influence and power. And what the presiding officer did in a debate on racism was completely disempower the only person of colour able to put amendments to that debate. The BBC don't seem to get it either. In Wales, they're certainly part of the problem. And they talk about some stunt in their article as if it was some kind of joke. And they don't even say that the amendments were removed at the last minute, and also without even telling us. Ultimately, I did not get a proper explanation as to why the amendments were withdrawn. During the debate, the presiding officer said,
I have said on many occasions that I will proactively now be looking to select or not select amendments for the proper conduct of a hybrid Senedd and its voting.
I simply do not see how, during a year where there is so much focus on racism worldwide, how voting on things like Grenfell, the Windrush scandal, quality assessments and the Lamy review, how can that not be the conduct of proper business? And more to the point, why has the presiding officer of the Parliament of Wales decided that such things do not constitute proper business? Why is that? The thing is, most people in Wales want to tackle racism. Our Welsh culture is such an amazing culture that it's strong enough and open enough to embrace people from all around the world. And we come together as the Welsh nation. And I'm an example of that. My grandfather came from the Yemen, and my background is very mixed. But I'm a proud Welsh person speaking in our Welsh Parliament on behalf of my constituents, but also the Welsh National Party. I think most people recognise that racism is still a problem, and what the presiding officer did on behalf of the Welsh Parliament was set the cause of fighting racism back. This issue is really personal to me, so I'd really like to know what you think, and what you think about the withdrawal of such important amendments and how the presiding officer behaved in the Parliament, not only yesterday, but over the last 4 years. I'd like to know what you think. Let us know.